From the Heart with Ed Hart. I'm excited. We're almost to season 1 launch. What do you think, Ed?
So far we've had 5 really great interviews, I believe. We've talked with Ken Blanchard and Denise Brown, Edgar Sotelo, and then we've met with Charles Antis and now Wing Lam. And I'm just so excited about the stories that we've heard and the commonalities, but also the significant differences that these 5 guests to this point have really shared with us. Yeah,
there's something that I think throughout all the interviews, there's been kind of a point in each one of them that, well, obviously multiple points, but whereas like this is really the part that I think the takeaway was. Yeah. And I don't want to spoil that for everybody, but I think as you talk through a few of them, what are some of the points that stood out to you to say this really felt like
I can kind of go in the order of the conversations that we've had.
Sure, let's do that.
You know, we talked with Denise Brown, and you know, Denise is the sister of Nicole Brown Simpson, who we all know the story of how her life came to an end in 1994. And I think the thing that I learned the most from her is how we can take pain in our lives, and obviously that's very well documented that everybody knows about, and how do we turn that pain into something positive? Losing Nicole will never be positive, but what Denise has done and what the Brown family has done as a result of that pain has changed millions of people. And I think that the awareness on domestic abuse and violence is so much greater now because of the efforts of what Denise has done. So no life dies in vain, basically, I think is the message I got behind that one with Denise. Yeah. And then when we talked with Ken, I mean, how do you not just take, you know, a million nuggets from an interview with Dr. Ken Blanchard? And it's going to sound cliche because it is a lot of what we talked about, but he takes that topic of servant leadership and it's not just a book. It's not just a concept. It's a philosophy. It's a lifestyle.
And it's one that he lives.
It's one that he lives. And since that interview, how many people I've come across who talk about servant leadership and don't even know that book exists. Yeah. And so it's kind of like if I say blue BMW, now you're going to see blue BMWs all day. I talk servant leadership with Ken, and now I'm hearing it everywhere I go. So that's pretty cool. Talking with my buddy Edgar, something that really fascinated with me with him is, and sort of with Wing as well, taking these immigrants who came here to America early on in their lives, and they're just making it happen. I mean, these are guys, I look at some of the most successful people that I've known in my life are people that have had massive challenges. And these are 2 guys who came here to this country really just, you know, not speaking the language, and now they're making a living speaking the language. Wing is the man of the people. Edgar talks on the radio all day, every day, and that's how these guys make their living. So
I loved when Edgar said, you know, the difference between Spanish radio and English radio, and he went into his Spanish radio voice, and I was like, man, you really feel a difference there. But he is so, I don't know how to explain it, but he is so inspiring. And I think he's gonna make the Immigrant Thing. I think you talked about, like, he is going to make an impact in so many lives.
And I think the word authentic. You're talking for sure. Just what you see is what you get, and I think that's the theme. And really, I think that's the theme of what we're trying to put together here with From the Heart altogether. For sure. And then how do you not just like talk authenticity when you talk Charles Antis?
Oh my goodness,
This is a guy that, as you said, he's a roofer. What are we going to talk about? It's roofing. You know, we all have a roof over our head, but it's why he does what he does. It's that really that purpose-driven life that Rick Warren wrote about a few decades ago. These are all individuals so far that have a purpose, and it does drive their life. And that's what excites me the most about this forum From the Heart, to be able to do this and really get into why people, again, we talked about this in our season 1 trailer. It's not what people are doing, but it's why they're doing it. And my why is that I really believe that for whatever reason right now, my purpose is to help these people tell their stories. And even if we inspire one person per podcast, it's a mission accomplished. Yeah, for sure. So definitely it's a passion.
It's shaping up to be a pretty good season 1 for sure. We've got 5 in the can. We do. And we've got 5 more we have all 5 scheduled.
We have the rest of the season scheduled. We're going to come right back from my vacation or business trip out to Vietnam, and we're going to talk with Lindsay Snyder, the president of In-N-Out, Gary Ridge from WD-40, Christina Piscucci, who's a philanthropist and news personality here locally in Los Angeles, among many others. Greg Grunberg from Heroes and Star Wars and Star Trek and Alias. And like Wing said earlier, Charles, I think if I start listing the people, I'm going to forget somebody, and I know I already have. But those are the ones we have on the calendar for when we get back.
Those ones were on the calendar when we get back. And then I think it's just going to carry on from there because we've talked about all of the people that you'd like to have on that you actually know, and like we're in process of scheduling those. So this show, I think, is going to be a great platform for people to really tell their story and talk about some of the things, like even with Charles and with Wing, how they talked through much more about purpose than about practical steps.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it was very practical, some of the things they talked about, but it's about the why. It's about that purpose. And I think especially with Charles, it was so much about purpose, and we did not talk about roofing with the exception of a few stories that he told. But it wasn't about the roofing.
Right.
Like, so I mean, I don't know.
The roof over that little girl's,
man. Don't spoil the story.
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
spoil the story.
I won't go there at all.
So good.
The cool thing, and I'll wrap with this, Todd, is that when I have these conversations with people about coming on the podcast, you get some hesitation. Obviously, who is this? It's a startup. You know what? Who
nobody's heard an episode.
Yeah, no one's even heard an episode yet. But then when I tell them what we're doing and why we're doing it, 100% of the people I've asked have said yes.
Yeah.
Not all of them have said, let's schedule it today. There are some who are going to come up next summer who just can't because they're, athletes who are in their sports season right now and can't do it, or actors who are behind the camera or in front of the camera on a movie set right now. Yeah. But when the time comes, they've all said, yes, we want to do this because they want to tell their story.
Absolutely.
And that's the medium we're providing.
It's all about the story.
Absolutely.
And it's the story from the heart.
I love it.
Awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Well, let's go make some more episodes.
Let's do it. All right.
My name is Edgar Sotelo.
I'm Wing Lamb.
Hi, I'm Denise Brown.
I'm Charles Antis.
This is From the Heart with Ed Hart, and I'm Ken Blanchard, and it's great to be here.